Let the cat fight those monsters! I'm getting out of here! The island sprung a leak. Run! First, the Queen issues a decree that changes the status of Summerset from an isolated paradise into a tourist attraction. Now monsters, sea creatures, I've never seen anything like them. Well, I say let the cat fight them. Better him than me. Suddenly the ground opened, spewing water and strange creatures. They attacked us. Luckily, one of the newcomers, a Khajiit, leaped in and drove them back. Called himself Razumdar. He could probably use some help if you're so inclined.
My friend, Raz is happy to see you, but surprised you didn't help me with these creatures. Not that Raz needed any help. You must tell me what brought you to Summerset after you agreed to assist Raz with his usual cloak and dagger business. Ominous. No more than usual, my friend. But there's work for the Queen's Eye, and this one could use an extra blade if you're willing. Queen Irene issued a decree to open the borders of Summerset and allow outsiders to have access to the island. That's what Raz said, but rumors reached the Queen. So this one made the journey and was immediately attacked by strange creatures. Raz doesn't think the two are related, but if you could ask some questions, check on the newcomers, that would help. While you ask questions around the city, Raz can take care of some other business. It may or may not involve scratching and clawing. Let's meet near the entrance to Shimmarin when you have something to report. Raz never saw such monsters in his life. They appear related to water, but this one tends to avoid this stuff. That pearl, though, Raz swears it was calling those creatures. A mystery for another time, perhaps. Now, we need to see to the newcomers. As a matter of fact, Raz made a list. Old Newell, a high elf artisan, spoke out. See what she complained about. Then there's Soxolza, a persecuted Argonian newcomer. Finally, Ranul, a city resident noted in the Divine Prosecution's observation log. Old Newell complained about it. No. Raz doesn't want to prejudice your investigation. You will find out when you talk to her. The artists like to gather shells along the eastern coast. She uses them to make paints and dyes. True, not enough syllables. Ranul's a Redguard, whose family has lived in Shimmarin for generations. He's a well-respected trader, with a few warehouses along the docks. Talk to him before the Divine Prosecution decides to arrest him. The Divine Prosecution serves as lawkeepers and protectors of social standards. Very persnickety. When rules are broken, they record it in their observation logs. If your name winds up on their list, things get complicated. Something to do with monks and newcomer registration. Raz is looking into that. Last I heard, Soxolza was seen leaving the city and heading west. Probably trying to reach the water. Lizards like water, yes? Not Raz. Ugh. Raz hates the wet stuff. Nothing at all. Unless you think they came to Summerset because of the Queen's decree. No, that would be ridiculous. Let's not lose focus. Just see what Old Newell, Soxolza, and Ranul have to say about newcomers and the mood in Shimmarin. We need to confirm these rumors or else put an end to them. Everyone should be pleased with the Queen's decree. Opening the border shows progress, yes? However, If any of her loyal subjects reject progress, well, Raz needs to know that too. While you ask questions around the city, Raz can take care of some other business. It may or may not involve scratching and clawing. Let's meet near the entrance to Shimmerin when you have something to report. Raz knows very little about city ordinances or how to tell the difference between mead and ale, so let's avoid those topics, yes? Otherwise, this one knows all about the Queen's decree and the initial reaction of the nobles and kin lady. Queen Irene, her most excellent leader of the Aldmeri Dominion, has issued a decree opening the once forbidden land of Summerset to traders, visitors, and immigrants of all races. Controversial, yes, but part of her plan for the Dominion's future. For some, High Elves talk of perfection, but they are a complicated people. Various individuals in Summerset take issue with their queen, with change of any sort, actually. The kin lady, for example, some nobles. Makes my job complicated. Kin Lady Avenice has made her views on the Queen's decree quite clear. She calls it unreasonable, dangerous. A few of the city's nobles have sided with the Kin Lady, as has the new Oldark at the monastery. My queen permits discussion, to a point. She has spoken against it. Now Raz needs to know how far she will go to defy the will of the queen. Does she grumble but welcome the newcomers, or is she using every option at her disposal to block their arrival? Raz will find out, with your help.
Find your own patch of beach. Not that you'd understand the concept, but the path to Alaxon requires dedication and complete concentration. I must find the perfect shells, or my pigments will be substandard. And do you know what that will do to my art? Exactly. An ultimate concept practiced widely here in Summerset. Alaxon is the state of perfection that every High Elf strives for. The path to Alaxon represents the approach we take to achieve that state. Now, why have you interrupted my work? I believe in caution as much as the next High Elf, but sometimes the rules get in the way of common sense. My apprentice lived here for more than a year. Good help is so hard to find, especially among the newcomers, and she was adept at making dyes. They took her away, said they had to scrutinize her qualifications, test her knowledge of culture and etiquette, but I haven't seen her since. My work suffers, so of course I complained to the monks. Now I have to gather my own shells. They told me I could fill out some forms and appeal to the kin lady. But who has time for such bureaucracy? And for a wood elf? I've said too much. I have work to do, and all this aggravation has diverted my path to Alaxon. Perfection requires constant vigilance, so back to it.
newcomer, in the warehouse district. Unusual, but how can I help you today, my friend? The Divine? Who told you that? If a Justiciar sent you to try and trick me into confessing... No, no. The High Elves would never send a newcomer to perform such a task. But I admit it. I made my thoughts known. I arranged to bring my cousin here to work with me. The ship arrived, but all the newcomers were carted away. For questioning, they said. I complained to the kin lady and anyone else who would listen. And what has it gotten me? Nothing! Oh, my family has been here for generations and generations. Before the Queen's decree, outsiders might have been rare, but we were not unheard of. Our business has grown and gets better every day. That's why I sent for my cousin. We need the help. Summerset is a rare and beautiful jewel in the Abetian Sea. I love it here. The High Elves treat us like children, but they have never been hostile. The Queen's decree has stirred the waters, though. I fear it will get worse before it gets better.
Farniri found grey fur on her pillow this morning. She hangs her head in shame.
This is unheard of. Why have you closed the monastery?
Good people, I hear your concerns.
Well, the workers I hired, they were aboard the ship from Rivenspire.
The kin lady and I, we have only your best interests in mind. Every guest must be sequestered while we ascertain their suitability for Altmer society.
The Old Dark's right! Lock up the newcomers!
Send the newcomers back where they came from. We don't want them here.
Such anger. Raz never expected to hear such words from the Queen's loyal subjects. The sentiment isn't universal, but enough feel this way for Raz to be concerned. Did you learn anything interesting from the people I sent you to talk to? Sequestered, Just a different word for imprisoned, yes. Ranul's cousin just arrived, but O'Newell's assistant has lived on Summerset since long before the Queen ever issued her decree. What about the lizard? What did Solza have to say? Why would the Aldar gather up newcomers and non-High Elf residents alike and send them to the monastery? Does the kin lady condone this behavior? Raz's head itches, and not in a good way. Our course is clear, Five Claw. We must go to the monastery. Raz admires your enthusiasm, but this one needs you to enter the monastery on your own. Raz has other fish to catch. This one will help you get past the sentry, though. When you notice that the sentry is distracted, just sleep quietly inside.
Thank you for standing beside the Queen at Tarnzel, Will, Traveller. Stars watch over you.
Mara, help me. Mara, help me find my son. An adventurer? Oh, praise you, Mara, for hearing my prayers. Please, newcomer, I'm desperate for help. My son, Arathel, has gone missing. No one will tell me what happened to him. Yes, I'm sorry. The last time I saw him, he was agitated, scared. I asked him what was wrong, but he left without a word. The guards arrived later. They said he turned himself in, that he was involved in a plot to kill our sapiarch, Icantar. No, he vanished. They say he escaped. Can you believe it? Why would he turn himself in only to escape a few hours later? They're hiding something, I know it. Please, Caraval, help me find my boy. He would never hurt anyone. I swear it. You have a perfect heart, newcomer. None of my neighbors would lift a finger to help me. The guards placed Arathel in a cell beneath the Kin Lady's manor. I'm told the Justiciar of Remand is there now, a mer named Telerion. He must know something. No, Icantar treats us like family. Arathel is Icantar's apprentice, you see? He was so proud when the attestation came through. He's been a bit withdrawn, though. I found some Aprax literature in his room. But it's just a phase, right? Right. You're new to the Isle. I apologize. Apraxic Mer, a people who, for whatever reason, were expelled from the greater elven community. Most Aprax labor for years to re-enter society. Others choose to remain in exile. I feel very sorry for them. Some do, yes. Treatises on class warfare, religious hypocrisy, that sort of thing. A lot of young Mer take a liking to it. I think it's healthy to push back a bit. Not too much, of course, but a bit. Rumor has it that a famous Aprax called the Mother of Rats lives in the city, but I've never met her. And even if I did, we're forbidden from speaking with her. Oh, that sounds awful, doesn't it? It's just the way things are here, I'm afraid.
You there! I have a... Damn it, why won't this work?
Did you see a golden knight?
I have no idea what that was, and I'm not sure I want to know.
This manor is closed by order of the Divine Prosecution, so I'll keep this brief. Who are you, and what do you want? Aye, Surabane's ring, will I never be rid of that hen? Look, turning away grieving mothers brings me no satisfaction, but this situation is delicate. The Divine Prosecution does not lose prisoners. Ever. Certainly not frightened children like Arathel. Not here, clearly. You really do mean to track him down, don't you? Fine. When we took Arathel into custody, he was only carrying a handful of coin, a tin flute, and some kind of crude map. Our draftsman drew up a few copies for distribution to the bailiffs. They're stacked upstairs near the hearth. You can take one if you wish, with this condition. If you find something, you will bring it to my attention, immediately. It seems he escaped into the vaulted Halsorial. The sewer. Gods, what a hideous word. Anyway, he had help. That gaping hole in the wall is obviously quite new. Might have been a conventional explosion or some kind of arcane rupture. We won't know until the revelators examine the scene. So you would ask my name without offering your own? No, don't bother. I've grown to expect these clumsy troglodytic introductions. I am Talarian, Justiciar of Romand. I oversee all matters related to bonds and incarceration here in Shimmerine. Spilling wine on your vest at a dinner party is embarrassing. This is... frankly, there isn't a word in the common tongue for this. It is raxiferas. Disgraceful on a scale you outsiders can't even imagine. That's a matter for the High Justiciar and the Sapiarchs. My only concern is returning him to custody. And time is of the essence, so please, be on your way. It seems he escaped into the vaulted Halsorial.
Thank you for looking into this, Caraval. I just hope we're not too late.
Sentry! Raz owes you for that game of cards and has come to pay.
Well, I don't recall any... You say I won some gold?
Don't you remember? Raz always pays his debts, and he always buys the drinks.
Gold and drinks? Well, my relief should be along soon, so why not?
Are you lost? You can't be in here.
No, not now, please. Your spiritual well-being can wait until after my nap. You'll have to ask one of the monks that the new Aldork brought with him. They deal with all the newcomer testing and evaluations. I'm just a simple monk trying to catch up on my sleep. That was a hint, by the way. Aldork Tilkala arrived right after the Queen issued her decree. He came highly recommended by King Lady Avanice, or so I heard. It's not unusual for monks to form attachments and move together, but there's something strange about that bunch. The Aldork and his monks keep to themselves. They've taken the Undercroft for their own purposes and ordered the rest of us to avoid the ancient vaults beneath the monastery. Now, please, let me get back to my nap. Again with the questions about the newcomers. Why do you care about the complexities of Altma bureaucracy? Still, if I had to make a guess, I'd say they were taking into the Undercroft for registration and processing. Now go away. The monastery should be a place of peace and meditation. The Aldork has closed us down until further notice. That means if any of the monks spot you, they'll raise the alarm. Me? I never saw you. Now, if you don't mind, my nap awaits.
Office, wouldn't you agree? I noticed you skulking around while I was engaged in some skulking of my own. I suppose we both came to the monastery with a similar purpose in mind. The sequestered newcomers. I came to find out what happened to a friend. I assume that's what brought you here as well? A house of worship shouldn't be used as an internment camp, and it shouldn't be locked to the public either. Interesting. I've never seen anything quite like it. I find it intriguing and a bit disturbing. But we aren't here to discuss curios. Strange creatures notwithstanding, we need to find out what's happening with the missing newcomers. The sentry doesn't appear to have stopped you, so I could ask you the same question. Let's just agree that we both have our methods. Curious, but I feel that there's more going on in Shimmerine than the usual politics and community relations. That's the question, my cautious friend. We have a newly appointed Aldarch and a disgruntled kin lady, both opposed to the Queen's decree. What's their connection to the missing newcomers? I was about to explore the Undercroft. Care to join me? A curious pearl. I wonder where the Aldarch acquired it. Probably not important. I'll meet you in the Undercroft, and we can see what's going on with the newcomers.
Did someone tell you you could be here? I think not.
You have no right to be in here.
Something's wrong down here. I sense magic. Vile magic. Cages? These people did nothing to deserve such treatment. There's someone alive over there. See if you can help her.
Thank the Divines! You aren't one of the monks. Please, let me out of here. It's a nightmare. We came to Summerset to seek new opportunities. We barely stepped off the ship when they marched us to the monastery. Instead of questioning us or the usual high elf bureaucracy, they locked us in these cages. The monks gathered them a few moments ago and took them through the door on the far side of the chamber. Please, let me out of here before they take me away like the others.
Is that a scoffin?
Oh, thank you for setting me free.
A Daedra? Here? And that's a scoffin, if I remember my Daedric recitations correctly. Very curious. An excellent question, and one I hope to find the answer to. From the evidence before us, it appears this Nord killed the Scoffin before he succumbed to his own wounds. Good for him. I found this key on the creature's belt, so we can open that door. Then I suggest we pick up the pace. We need to determine what's actually happening down here, and who's behind all this. Without answers to those questions, we won't be able to decide on our best course of action. I'll explain everything later. For now, we need to hurry. deal with the Pearl. You hold off these creatures. The Pearl's magic attracts these creatures. Hold them off while I complete my spell. Come on, let's talk outside. Those poor people. This wasn't just about newcomers and opposing the Queen's decree. That was Daedric magic back there. I just wish we had arrived a few moments earlier. I promised to explain what I know. I suppose that now's as good a time as any. I'm a member of the Sijic Order. Our Rite Master sent me to investigate a warning we received about a plot involving Summerset. My inquiries led me here. The Sijic Order is an ancient magical monastic society. We served as advisors to the rulers of Tamriel, but that was before we removed our island home from the world. Now this threat has drawn us back. But why are you involved in all this? An Eye of the Queen? Interesting. I diffused the Daedric magic and transported the Pearl to Artaeum, the Sijic island, for safekeeping and study, so we can learn more about it. But we can discuss this further once we get out of here. Living on Artaeum for a few centuries doesn't prepare you for physical activity. Let the Eye of the Queen know what we discovered, and I'll catch up with you later. We were warned that Daedric princes had their eyes on Summerset, but I didn't expect that level of danger from what was supposed to be a simple investigation. I suggest you tell the Eye of the Queen what we discovered. I'll catch up with you later. We received word that there was the potential for trouble in Summerset, so the Right Master sent me to take a look. Even so, Artaeum isn't a prison. We're Psijic mages. We can come and go as we like, just so long as it advances our studies. I did tell you, once I ascertained I could trust you and the time was right. When we make a rare visit back to Nirn, we try to keep a low profile. Rumors about our order tend to make people uncomfortable and even nervous in our presence. Ah, that would be one of the Right Master's many contacts. Another source for the warnings we received. We may have removed ourselves from the world, but we like to keep abreast of events across Tamriel and beyond. A partial truth. Easier to remember than an outright lie. Another member of our order came to Summerset a few months back. We haven't heard from him, so I decided to look into both matters while I was here. Unfortunately, he continues to elude me. No, not intentionally. We may be sages, but we're still just people. We can become restless, succumb to sorrow or frustration. My friend may have decided that life on Artaeum was no longer satisfying. I just want to know he's safe. I did tell you, once I ascertained I could trust you and the time was right. When we make a rare visit back to Nirn, we try to keep a low profile. Rumors about our order tend to make people uncomfortable and even nervous in our presence. A partial truth. Easier to remember than an outright lie. Another member of our order came to Summerset a few months back. We haven't heard from him, so I decided to look into both matters while I was here. Unfortunately, he continues to elude me. No, not intentionally. We may be sages, but we're still just people. We can become restless, succumb to sorrow or frustration. My friend may have decided that life on Artaeum was no longer satisfying. I just want to know he's safe. I did tell you, once I ascertained I could trust you and the time was right.
Shimmerine has always boasted the largest population of newcomers, given its location as a port city. But ever since the borders opened, that population has grown exponentially.
This one wishes she never came to this land of pretension and overbearing ordinances. Who knew there could be so many rules? Makes me want to drink my stock dry, but then what would Riharai sell? Ah, for that one you must go upstairs. The hooded man will have what you seek. Good luck, Walker.
You can't truly say you visited a city until you've sampled its brews. And with that in mind, I must have visited Shimmerine over 15 times today.
Whether commoner or noble or merchant or queen, if the knights protect us, always with a smile.
I have many things on my mind. Making new friends isn't one of them. Please leave me alone.
I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm working. So, jog on. It didn't instruct you to do anything. That note was meant for someone else. Of course, you already know that. So, should I reach for my knife, or are we going to make nice? Huh. So, Talarian and his lackeys haven't found him either, eh? Color me surprised. I tried to help the kid, but if he didn't even find my note, he's in worse trouble than I thought. You carry yourself well. Maybe Mother can use you. Yeah, the Mother of Rats is our matriarch. She shelters us outcasts and misfits. Loves us, even. In her way. If you aim to help Arethel, she'll want to meet you first. There's an entrance to the sewers down by the docks. Just follow the rats. Name's Edgar Jend. Professional misfit, ne'er-do-well, and sometimes hatchet man. Mother sends me out to collect lost things. And people. I've got to tell you, this whole Arethel thing, it's giving me indigestion. I have a delicate constitution. That's a question for Mother. Speaking of which, you should be on your way.
Everything in the city is so fancy. Makes me kind of uncomfortable. Do you think this inn has a shabbier room?
Ah, this one's new partner returns. What interesting scandal did you uncover in the monastery? Tell Raz every juicy detail. That isn't the kind of scandal Raz was hoping for. Murder, Daedric rituals, and traitorous behavior have a way of ruining an otherwise perfect day. We need to learn the extent of the Kin Lady's involvement, and by we, Raz means you. Accuse? Not exactly. Raz wants you to talk to her, see what she knows about the Oldark. The Kin Lady is meeting with local leaders. Attend that meeting and learn the truth. This invitation and set of elegant clothes will get you through the door. A Sijik? Raz has heard rumors, but there are always rumors about the Sijiks. For an island of sages who disappeared more than 300 years ago, they certainly seem to get around. Did this Sijik mage say what the Order was investigating? There was a life-sucking pearl. You should probably have led with that bit of information. Well, we can worry about the Sijik mage and figure out where these pearls came from later. For now, go see what the Kin Lady has to say. Kin Lady Avenice and Raz do not get along. You see, there was a horse, a platter of pudding tarts, and No. This one won't bore you with the sordid details. Besides, everyone behaves well when they see Raz. You will learn more than I would.
My superiors in the divine prosecution were very insistent that all proper procedures be adhered to and signed, in triplicate. Of course, such thoroughness will result in processing delays for newcomers.
You're taking a risk coming down here, you know. If those surfacers know you're talking to an Aprax, they might toss you out too.
Stay as long as you like, outsider. You'll talk to an Aprax elf. That tells me all I need to know.
Well, you made it. You'll forgive me if I don't stand to greet you. I have a thing about social niceties. My spies told me you were coming, but neglected to say why. You're a recent arrival to the Isle, yes? I'm intrigued. What brings you? Ah, Arathel, the reluctant idealist. Yes, I know a bit. He's a friend of ours. I heard he was in a spot of trouble, so I sent a few of my children to collect him. Unfortunately, he bumbled his way into a prison cell. That was ill-advised. We had nothing to do with it. That boy has run afoul of some very dangerous people, and they're not about to let him go. Arathel's a valuable commodity down here. He's young, impressionable, and most importantly, he has access to the Sapiarch. Well, he wasn't lying. A rival of mine, Miralon, swept Arathel away from us, lured him in with promises of adventure, convinced him that killing the Sapiarch would start a revolution. Of course, the boy got cold feet. Now they have him. No, but I know someone who does. I sent one of my children to keep an eye on Miralon's operation, a Khajiit named Zonhai. He'll know where the boy's kept. Explore the tunnels west of here. You'll find Zonhai, or more likely, he'll find you. I'm the mother of rats. You know that already. Are you looking for an autobiography or something? Speak plainly. That's fair, I guess. I'm what the Clods and the Kinhouses call an apraxic, an elf criminal. There are other high elf misfits called ousters, but the fortunes of an apraxic are a little more severe. I forged a document. Well, the ensuing dispute sent 43 myrrh to the funeral pyre. It was a patent of lineage, you see. Kinlords take that sort of thing very seriously. Insufferable. Anyway, they shattered my Callion, my praxic talisman, and sent me packing. For the most foolish reason of all, love. Hilarious, right? Anyway, everyone here knows my past, but they accept me as I am. They even look to me for leadership, as if they need it. Hierarchy's a bad joke, Karam. Remember that. Well enough. He's young, which is to say he's bullheaded and self-righteous. Good for a laugh, if nothing else. He came looking for relief from the strictness, you know? All the rules and expectations. They can drive an elf mad. 50 years of exile has taught me many, many things. But the most important lesson is this. Anyone is capable of anything. A snot-nosed kin would murder his most beloved dog with a shovel if you gave him a good enough reason. Clearly he didn't, and I thank the fates for that. Arethel wouldn't make it a week as an Aprax. Too much of a people person. It's lucky for us too. If someone killed the Sapiarch, we'd be blamed. Guaranteed. Just another fringe benefit of exile. Miralon's a recent arrival. He's not an Aprax or an ouster, but he tries to act the part. I've twisted more arms than I can count, trying to find out where he's from, but so far I have very little to show for it. That's why Zonhai's where he is. Because killing the Sapiarchs will provoke that elusive revolution we're all supposed to be pining for. The Sapiarchs, the Divine Prosecution, the Ascendants. They're masters of a deranged system of oppression. Who wouldn't want a bit of payback? Of course not. Revolutions are just fairy tales for idiot children. Killing a Sapiarch will do nothing but bring the Divine Prosecution down on our heads. The more I learn about Miralon, the more I think that might be exactly what he wants.
We'll loosen his grip on us. We will make him.
Miralon only wants what's best for us.
He is mad as a sugar-sick frog. Please, you must go. If only for a few days.
Will you at least come with me?
I want to, but I still have much to do. Who's this now?
One of your friends from Mother's Den? Please, Sanhai, be quick.
Not too sure about that Miralon guy yet.
Zanhi does not wish to fight you, Walker. But he will if he must. You will speak your business, yes? If you were a friend to these Blackwake thugs, you would already know. This one will tell you what he found, but you must act quickly. Miralon plucked Arethel from his cell and brought him here. He means to bend the boy's mind, I think. He claimed the caverns ahead. But the way is guarded by more Blackwake warriors, and worse. This elf is more than he seems, Walker. He is a spellweaver who consorts with Daedra. If you aim to rescue Arathel, you will have to deal with Miralon. Miralon wields magics that Zanhi has never seen before. Spells that twist good elves' brains and make them dance to the caster's rhythm. Arathel refused to kill the Sapiarch, but this one thinks, given enough time, Miralon will make him do it. Hedani was taken in by the Black Wake's lies. The Mother of Rats sent me to spy on Miralon, but in truth, I came here to rescue my love. She was confused. But Zani will get her to safety. If Miralon bends the boy, Arathel, and makes him kill the Sapiarch, the Elf Guards will storm this place by the hundreds. Soldiers of the Divine Prosecution do not show Khajiit mercy. Staying here would be a death sentence, you see. Miralon wields magics that Zanhi has never seen before. Spells that twist good elves' brains and make them dance to the caster's rhythm. Arathel refused to kill the Sapiarch, but this one thinks, given enough time, Miralon will make him do it. Hedani was taken in by the Black Wake's lies. The Mother of Rats sent me to spy on Miralon, but in truth, I came here to rescue my love. If Miralon bends the boy.
Smells worse than the Riften Tavern in here.
For protests has passed, child. You will serve us, whether you want to or not. So the Rat Queen sends her vermin to destroy me. Come!
one of them, are you? Sorry, as soon as I saw an opening, I took off running. I didn't even see that drop. Honestly, I'm lucky to be alive. For the moment, at least. My mother is going to kill me. Oh, that's 2 mothers that will want my head. All right, I'll follow, at a distance. I've had enough excitement for one lifetime.
Easy, guardsmen. This boy's under our protection.
All of you, quiet! Have a word with our mutual friend, Talarian. If you want the truth, that is.
Damn that toad, Talarion! Don't let him take my boy!
How did Talarian find this place? I guess it doesn't matter. I'll go quietly if I must. Just don't let him hurt the people here.
So, it's you. When you didn't return, I assumed you had abandoned your search. What are you doing here? Ah, the oft-used "a wizard made me do it" defense. It's an excuse I've heard before. Many, many times. Do you have proof, or is this all fanciful conjecture? It seems this Miralon played a role in a much wider conspiracy. Troubling. I will take this to my superiors. As for the boy, he can go free. For now. A word of advice. Avoid these urchins and apraxics. They are nothing but trouble.
So, you found our lost sheep. Well done. As you can see, I sent for Arathel's mother. She won't speak to me, of course, but she seems appreciative enough. Perhaps this will be a teachable moment for the both of them. One can hope, I suppose. Difficult to say. The fact that he's been fraternizing with Apraxix won't reflect well on him. But at least you proved he's not a murderer. That's something, right? You've done far more than rescue a stray high elf, Karam. Take this, and my thanks.
Take notice, sewer dwellers. I know where you are. Keep your affairs in order, or our next encounter will be far less pleasant.
Thank you so much for finding Arathel. Bless you.
Oh, I think I might want to be an adventurer too.
No, you've had quite enough adventure for one lifetime.
I don't know what to say other than thank you. The Sapiarchs may expel me for all this, but that's something I can live with. People in high places don't have all the answers. The mother of rats taught me that. So did you.
Once again, you have my deepest thanks, Caraval. I don't know what I would have done if they'd taken my boy.
Thanks for the help, friend. 8 only know what those long-legged guards would have done if Arathel killed the Sapiarch. You're always welcome down here, all right?
Have a care up there on the surface, Karam. All those beautiful gardens and white stones hide a rotten core. Don't trust anyone but yourself.
Once again, you have my deepest thanks, Caraval. I don't know what I would have done if they'd taken my boy.
Yes? And who might you be? The Kin Lady is currently engaged. She's holding a conference with Shimmerine's elite to discuss certain political matters. Yes. So you do. And may I say that your outfit is suitably elegant. Please, head into the garden.
We all have concerns regarding the Queen's decree. I assure you that I am working with all Dark Takala to safeguard the sanctity of Shimmerine and all of Summerset. Enjoy the food and drink. Business of the city requires my attention, but I shall rejoin you shortly.
How bold of you. The Nebarar dares to stand in my holy presence. Very well, bold Nebarar. What can the new Alldark of Shimmerine do for you? And please, try not to bore me or spray any spittle on my spotless vestments. You heard that somewhere, did you? I'll have to have a discussion with the Divine Prosecution about how lax our security has become. No, I jest. The Kin Lady and I have nothing but the best interests of Summerset and the newcomers in mind. You really are well informed about things here in Shimmerine, aren't you? For a Nebarar. You're right, where are my manners? Using a word you couldn't possibly be expected to understand. It means unwelcome. As in, you are not welcome here. That's a serious accusation to toss around so casually. What did you say your name was again? I want to make sure to add it to the Divine Prosecution's observation log. For your own protection, you understand. I suddenly remembered some business I need to deal with as well. Feel free to pester the other guests in my absence.
First, the Kin Lady invites us to discuss the situation in Shimmerine. Then, she tells us to sit here and wait. And now, a damn Nebarar is standing close enough for me to smell it. Well, Nebarar, speak up, or is talking not part of your repertoire? everyone knows what the Kin Lady thinks of the Queen's decree. I suppose she plans to oppose the new policy. Keep more Navarra from reaching our shores. Somehow. I just hope she doesn't do anything that ruins our expanded trade agreements. That's a loaded question, Navarra. Look, I get as nervous as a pigeon in a griffin eyrie just thinking about having a lizard living right next door. But I can't argue with the Queen's success. The expanded trade agreements have been a star send. Navarra? Well, I suppose that's our word for the newcomers. I guess you could say it's impolite, but old habits can be hard to break. No offense. Look, I don't have an issue with the newcomers. Some of my best workers weren't born on the island.
Another newcomer. Ink has barely dried on the Queen's decree, and there are already more of you than I can count. I look forward to hearing how the Kin Lady and New Aldark plan to protect Summerset's interests. Does it? Perhaps. The newcomers are different. They understand neither Altma society nor the rules of protocol and etiquette. Makes my job as an officer of the Divine Prosecution more difficult. I just hope the New Aldark really has a plan. The Divine Prosecution serves as Summerset's premier lawkeepers. We enforce secular and religious law, making sure that all social and cultural rules are adhered to. The fact that you didn't know that proves the Aldark's concerns are justified. Well, don't really know the New Aldark all that. Wait a moment. I don't know who you are, and I'm not sure I like the tenor of your questions. Perhaps you should move along before I forget this is a social gathering and that I'm not on duty? The Divine Prosecution serves as Summerset's premier lawkeepers. We enforce secular and religious law, making sure that all social and cultural rules are adhered to. The fact that you didn't know that proves the Aldark's concerns are justified. Well, don't really know the New Aldark all that. Wait a moment. I don't...
A newcomer, here in the Kin Lady's garden, and during her latest rant on the dangers of the Queen's decree? Oh, that's just grand. I really can't wait to see her expression when she finally notices your presence. Am I? Some probably see it that way. What do I care? I'm the Canon Reeve of Shimmerine. Kin Lady Avanice may outrank me, but I'm the one who keeps the city's bureaucracy functioning smoothly. It's what I do. What were we talking about again? Complain, most likely. My cousin excels at that. I assume she may have something else worked out with the New Aldark, but she has yet to bring me into her confidence on the matter. Frankly, I assumed that's why we were here. I'm a Canon Reeve, my dear. I thought we established that. It's an official title, given to diplomats and bureaucrats who administer to county seats. A gift from my cousin Avanice, I suppose. In your land, I'd probably be called the mayor.
How dare you barge into my home without so much as a by your leave? No, I refuse to deal with one of the Queen's guests, especially not in my own home. How did you get in here, by the way? No, never mind that. Since you found your way in, I assume you can find your way back out, before I call the guards. Such innocence. You really want to know why I oppose the Queen's order to allow newcomers to enter Summerset? Because I'm trying to protect both the island and the newcomers. It's in everyone's best interest that we maintain a separation. Aldark Tilkala came highly recommended. He has grand plans for protecting Shimmerine. Grand plans. Unfortunately, in my haste to deal with the Queen's decree, I may have made an error in judgment. Not that it's any concern of yours, but my Chancellor has been unable to verify the Aldark's existence prior to when we met. And I recommended him for the position at the monastery. I assure you, Kin Lord Millenthal praised Tilkala to no end. That's preposterous. Aldark Tikala sequesters the newcomers to ascertain their suitability for life in Summerset. Those who pass will find a place here. As for the rest, they'll be returned to wherever they came from. That's what we agreed to.
My lady, one of the monks said to deliver this message. It's from the Aldark himself.
The Coral Forest. An odd location for a meeting, but I need to hear the Aldark's explanation.
Pretend you are adjusting your boot or admiring the architecture. As hard as it may be, look anywhere but directly at Raz. Good, good. Now, tell Raz what you learned at the King Lady's manor. Raz thinks Avanis is as naive as she is complicit, but she is not a murderer. This new Aldark, though, has so much blood on his hands, it looks like he's wearing red gloves. From what I could discover, he didn't exist before he came to Shimmarin. The Coral Forest? A strange meeting place. Raz thinks we should go and see what the Aldark is up to. After I take back that outfit, I might need it again later. Ah, you have a pretty admirer, my friend. The Psijic sage, yes? Here she comes now.
I'm glad I found you. While watching the King Lady's mansion, I saw her ladyship sneak out the back and leave the city.
The King Lady is meeting the Aldark in the Coral Forest. Raz smells something, and it isn't moon sugar biscuits.
Your reputation precedes you, Eye of the Queen. I am Valcerin of the Psijic Order, and I agree that the Aldark is more than a simple monk.
We should work together, yes? But let's travel separately, to avoid attracting unwanted attention. Raz will find you both at the Coral Forest.
Have you heard? A high elven woman named Velast returned Ivea to the Summerset Isles.
This is what dealing with High Elf nobles gets you, Bringus. Please, you must help. I think my cousin Brengus has been captured by werewolves. Brengus got caught up in a love affair, see? Decided to run off with some high elf named Nearlin. I was supposed to meet them in Archon's Grove, help them get off the island. But when I got there, all I saw were werewolves. Yes, I'm sure of it. I couldn't find them anywhere. I did meet a high elf named Estadel. He wouldn't tell me much, but he was definitely searching around the grove. He may know more about the situation than I do.
To keep awake. The squad.
What? Are you here to kill me? Might as well. There's no honor left for me now. Not after I decided to send my squad off to certain death. I failed them as their captain. I failed all of Summerset. Justicia Avanaire. She struck me down, ran off to this ruin. I was able to follow her this far. The rest of my squad went in after her, but I fear the worst. With that pearl, who knows what she's capable of? The item we were ordered to transport, it's tied to the Yagra, mysterious creatures that keep attacking our shores. We have no idea what devastation the pearl's capable of, but we can't allow it to be used to dark ends. It must be destroyed. You must move quickly. The pearl is with Justicia Avanaire, somewhere in Torheim Card. Once you find it, destroy the cursed thing. Even if you have to go through Avanaire to do it. She's one of the finest officers the Divine Prosecution has to offer. Came to us specifically for this transport mission. Now I know it was all a setup. She planned to betray us for the pearl from the start. Power? Ambition? A new accessory? I have no idea what she plans to do, but it's something important enough to forever sully her name. There will be no honor for her after this disgrace. She'll be forever shamed, marked in history as a traitor. Compared to the pain of disgrace, hardly noticeable. Avanaire got the drop on me, but I was able to step back in time. It's not mortal, but I can't fight. May that Sleck thank her ancestors that she won't have to face me in battle. It has the power to summon Yagra, hideous creatures that seem to have crawled out from the depths of the sea, as deadly as they are mysterious. We were transporting the pearl to the Sapiox for research purposes. The situation has changed. I'm in no state to get this pearl to Lilandril, and who knows what evil could befall Summerset if it fell into the wrong hands. I'm making the call. In this contingency, destroying the pearl is the only safe option.
How many more must die? These Yagra. There's no room for their numbers.
Healer!
they can double-cross me? I'll show them true suffering! Clean of this Sagatian filth! My name shall be honored! Revered!
I failed you, little sister.
So, you returned to me alone. The pearl. Is it destroyed? I knew I was sending them to their deaths, but still, I couldn't let Avanaire get away. If not for you, The surrounding towns would have been overrun with Yagra. You saved many today, even if some were lost. Here, take this for your service. Don't worry about me. I may not be fit enough to fight, but I can still walk. I'll head to the closest town and make my report. Just need a moment to catch my breath first. Ah, venom words dripped from the tongue of a traitor. Tell me, did you learn anything useful? Something I should add to my report? Do you expect my heart to bleed at such a story? Avanaire has betrayed her family tenfold by besmirching their name. She betrayed her queen, her nation, her comrades. My soldiers, good soldiers, were killed. For what? An addict's debt? And so she weighed the life of one greater than the deaths of many. I doubt this sentimental tidbit will change anything. Her name shall never be honored by her descendants. She'll be an outcast even in death, the greatest dishonor.
One of Summerset's more unique environments, the Coral Forest. I used to love coming here when I was growing up. We need to find out why the Aldark asked Kinlady Avanice to meet him out here. Based on what we saw in the monastery's undercroft, I'm hesitant to use magic to locate them. I suppose we'll have to find them through mundane means. Too bad the Queen's spy isn't here yet. I understand he's good at this sort of thing.
You know nothing of the plan, you fool. Let me give you a taste of what the Prince of Bargains has in store for this pitiful world.
Your prince! I want no part of Daedra! Help!
Come, Nebara!
I'll go after the Kinley.
Yagra!
You deal with the Aldark. Razumdar apprehended the Kinlady. They're at the west edge of the Coral Forest. What happened to Aldark Tilkalar? Did he escape? I think we can conclude that Tilkalar wasn't actually an Oldark. At least, not with his connection to the Prince of Bargain's Clavicus Vial. Strange magic and creatures worry me, however. Hopefully the pearl I sent to Artaeum can tell us more. You'd be surprised what a particular object can reveal if you know how to unlock its secrets. I need to return and tell Right Master Ikesis all that transpired here. If you're willing, I'd like you to come to Artaeum and confirm my story. The Right Master leads the Psijic Order from Kapora Tower on the island of Artaeum. This spell attunes you to a portal near Shimmerine in the ruins of the Keep of 11 Forces. It always leads to Artaeum, no matter the island's current location. One more adjustment and there! You are now attuned. Find me on Artaeum after you finish with the Eye of the Queen.
Ah, Five Claw. The King Lady and Raz had the most illuminating conversation.
You can't treat me like some sort of criminal, you horrid creature. My social standing is ruined. Just ruined.
Queen Irene will be disappointed that the King Lady of Shimmerine allowed a false Oldark to murder so many newcomers. Such a scandal makes other travelers uneasy about coming here, yes? The Prince of Bargains. That could only be Clavicus Vial. What oblivion-inspired nest of vipers has Raz stumbled into? This one has a very bad feeling about all of this. Where is the Psijic Sage? Raz would like to ask her what she thinks. The Psijic Order's interest in all of this concerns Raz Umdar. This one has never had much love of magic, or those that practice the art. On the other hand, now Raz has his own person on the inside. An Eye of Raz, if you will, yes? Then you must go to Artaeum and discover what the Psijics have learned. When you return, you can tell Raz all about it so he can pass it along to the Queen. Yes, Raz likes this plan. In the meantime, Raz will investigate the Daedric connection.
Have you come to gloat? To kick me while I wallow in my own misery? Well, go ahead. I deserve it. I met him at Kinlord Millenthal's party in Eleanor. We had similar ideas about the Queen's decree, and I recommended that he lead the monastery. Summerset isn't a stew pot, and the various races aren't ingredients to be sprinkled in like so much spice. What a hateful accusation! Tilkala told me he was going to send them back where they came from. I had no idea he planned to kill them. I give you my word. I just wanted the newcomers to go away. And to find out he worshipped Daedra? How crude. I certainly hope not. We'll have to get the Divine Prosecution in there to gather up the monks Tilkala brought with him to Shimmerine. We can't have Daedric cultists desecrating a holy site. I suppose I need to beg for mercy from the Proxy Queen.
I must say, I've just had the most dreadful day. First, my betrothed runs off with some wood elf, and then she manages to get kidnapped by werewolves. At this rate, my reputation may never recover. To think Nirelin would put me in such a position. What do I care about Brengus? Honestly, I'd rather leave the two lovebirds to their fate. But if word got out that I left Nirelin to die, or if she managed to escape and actually marry that wood elf, suffice to say, I can't just leave her. Well, I'm certainly not risking my life. You have the look of a ruffian. Want to take on the task? If you collect Nirelin, or at least what's left of her, I'll make sure you're paid handsomely. Oh, and you could save Brengus as well, I suppose. Excellent. Once you've finished, meet me near the Mages Guild in Shimmerine. Of course, discretion is key here. I want no word getting out about this little incident, not even to common folk. Rumors do tend to spread, after all. Do you know how long this marriage arrangement has been underway? Decades. Decades worth of work. All gone if Nirelin smears her name through wood elf muck. Why, I'd rather suffer 1,000 cuts than such a wound to my reputation. Oh, well, of course, you wouldn't know, given your race. High elves take marriage most seriously. A matchmaker must be contacted to research the couple's star charts, pedigree documents, that sort of thing. It's a lengthy process. Excuse me? Well, sorry that we don't take marriage as a fast and loose affair. Marriage, as in all things, must be as impeccable as possible. Family, physicality, all those things must be taken into account. Otherwise, it's just chaos. Disorder. I feel as though I told you plenty, haven't I? It's a private matter. If she's alive, just remind her of her obligations. We can still make this little fling disappear, even after this mess. Naturally, pending death, there's no honorable way to cancel now. It's best just to be discreet. After all, I can't have everyone knowing my betrothed ran off with someone of another race. No offense meant, of course. Oh, well, of course, you wouldn't know, given your race.
Didn't you all hear me? I want to be left alone! Wait. You're not one of the pack. Why, you're not even a werewolf. You need to leave now. It's far too dangerous here. They've already killed Brengus, and it's too late for me. Estidel. I thought I heard him whimpering earlier. I told you, it's already too late. I've been turned. There's no place in Summerset society for a werewolf. I'm doomed to live out the rest of my cursed existence as an outcast. What other choice do I have? I was miserable with Estidel, and I thought Brengus was my one chance to escape, to leave that life behind. He was going to protect me, and in the end, he couldn't even protect himself. No, I can't live like this, serving the very beasts who took everything away from me. Just end it, please. I'd rather die than be miserable. You can take my signet ring. That will prove to Estidel that you found my corpse. Well, I have always been good at controlling myself. I had to be. But still, where would I be going back to? Estidel? A loveless marriage with a mer I hate? I don't know if I could stand that. You know, you're right. Ever since I was turned, I feel stronger, bolder. I don't need to marry Estidel if I don't want to. And I certainly don't have to live in the woods to make that choice. I'll end it, one way or another.
Mind your step there, stranger. These little beauties are as delicate as they are delicious.
There you are. Quickly, over here. Well, Were you able to find Nirelin? Or at least, whatever those werewolves left of her? I see. Well, at least I won't have to begin my marriage negotiations anew. As long as Nirelin's willing to put this incident behind her, all will be well. Here's your payment for a task well completed and your discretion on the matter.
I've returned, Estadel, and I've reflected on my actions.
I suppose nearly getting yourself killed will do that. I'm just glad you finally came to your senses.
Yes, of course. Dearest, tell me. Our wedding day, weren't we told the moons would be full?
Why, yes. A most auspicious sign, the priests told us.
Oh, yes. Most auspicious indeed. I very much look forward to it. I trust you to keep my little secret. And who knows? Maybe we'll see each other again. Somewhere deep within the woods.
Let's just hope my betrothed has learned a lesson from all of this. It certainly doesn't pay to go running around with the first vagabond who shows interest.
Welcome to Artaeum, traveler. I know it can all be a lot to take in at first, so please feel free to ask me any questions. I have quite an extensive knowledge of this island's history. Though it may be hard to believe, Artaeum was once part of the Summerset archipelago. That's why the flora here may seem so familiar to you. Of course, our order has now moved the island to somewhere else entirely. Someplace safe. I don't have authority to tell you any further details, I'm afraid. Our order has the ability to move Artaeum or even make it intangible. That's how we've protected ourselves from invaders and outside forces. In a sense, as observers of Tamriel, my order cannot allow outside forces to influence our judgment. Isolation allows us a certain neutrality on matters. And with the way things are back in Tamriel, I can't see us returning anytime soon.
And so we meet again on Artaeum, my home. I knew you would find your way here eventually. Yours is a will not easily constrained. Helping the Order in the only way I still can, with tutoring and research. I will never recover the power I lost when my shadow died on that island. But mercifully, I've retained my wits and memories. To my great surprise, I'm an excellent teacher. All have tried. From the Rite Master on down to the initiates I train. None have succeeded. It is not a matter of unlocking power hidden from view. The power is simply gone. One cannot unlock something that no longer exists. Do not mourn its passing, my friend. In truth, arcane power is the least of the Sigic's gifts. The true might of the Order is found in wisdom, prudence, and right action. I can pass that on to the next generation of mages, no matter what. Then my sacrifice on Dranilkir was vital and worthwhile. Had you not defeated Bonifred and my shadow, you may never have reached the Clockwork City. Tell me, what occurred in Sothasil's realm? Fascinating. If Nocturnal's shadow magic can confound even the great Sothasil, I bear no shame for falling victim to it on Dranilkir. Even a veteran member of our order cannot stand alone against a Daedric prince. Thank you for telling me this. I have not, nor do I intend to go. The power required to travel there and back is beyond me now, and honestly I find the hubris of it more than a little unsettling. The tales of your adventures are enough for me, my friend. Artaeum is enough.
And there was no sign of Lathan. I don't know whether to be grateful or concerned.
We'll find him, Val. Now go check on the Pearl while I speak to our new guest. What a rare honor Valcerin bestowed upon you. Only a select few not of our order have ever walked upon this sacred island. Val tells me your aid was indispensable in uncovering the false Aldarc's plot on Summerset. Unfortunate, certainly. The magic you describe sounds familiar, though I can't quite recall where I've heard of it before. I fear the pearls may be a harbinger of the threat Sothasil warned us about. Sothasil, one of the living gods of the Dark Elf Tribunal. He's an honorary member of our order. After an attack on his Clockwork City, he warned us about a Daedric threat to Summerset and Artaeum. I sent Valcerin to investigate. Indeed, but not until we finish studying the Pearl Valcerin brought us. There are mysteries to unravel, and Val believes you will be instrumental to our success. We can get started immediately, unless you want to explore our island first. The next step involves a thorough examination of the strange pearl you and Valcerin recovered from beneath the Shimmerine Monastery. Hopefully, we can learn more about the false Aldarc and the source of the pearl's magic. We are the Sigic Order, friend of Valcerin. There is very little we cannot accomplish through the application of the old ways. Every object remembers its history. The trick involves selecting the correct ritual to reveal those buried memories. While I head inside to begin the augury ritual, I'd like you to go to Sothasil's study in the tower, find my acolyte, Oriandra, and ask her for Sothasil's amplification elixir. We may need it if the pearl proves to be resistant to our magic.